if you had the opportunity to be Chancellor of the Exchequer in the UK, what would be your 5 main priorities?
One would be special economic zones. I would like to see that we create an area of the UK that's directly in competition with Dubai. So imagine rather than going to Dubai, you go to Liverpool and you say, if you're moving a business into Liverpool from abroad, from the UK, from London, you're going to have a special economic zone in Liverpool. You've got to genuinely be there, and there's some tests as to how to be there. But we're going to incentivize massive amount of growth in these areas that are falling behind. Not picking on Liverpool for any particular reason, just saying that might be a special economic zone.
I was going to say you're going to need Saudi levels of policing to as well to make it.
So you can create special economic zones where different rules apply. The problem with that is that you'd have to admit that low taxes actually creates growth,
right?
Which is going to be a hard thing.
Well, you know, on that subject, one thing I've been saying to people, including in government for ages, like, one thing Britain's always been great about is intellectual creativity or other forms of creativity, music media, comedy, media, podcasts,
software.
If you just create a place in London where somebody who wants to take their podcast from having a few thousand subscribers to the next level, they can rent a studio, they can get access to other government support, they maybe benefit from preferential tax for the first few years. Like, you could really, like, that is, you know, after AI, these might be the only jobs around, to be everyone just talking to each other on podcasts. Like, why don't you just that wouldn't cost a lot of money, and you'd retain and also attract a hell of a lot of people, instead of losing people like Chris Williamson to Austin and all the rest of it.
There's a long list of amazing creators that we've lost.
Right. Oh, Stephen Bartley's just moved to LA.
Stephen Bartlett has just moved. Ali Abdaal is now in Hong Kong.
The only reason we haven't left is we're not that successful. You know, like, do you know what I mean?
And you actually, there comes a point where, because I work with a lot of YouTubers, there comes a point where you earn about 600 grand a year clear, and you just start to get some different advice, and then you realize we could do this from anywhere. Why are we here for, you know? So around 50 grand a month clear is where you start to rethink where should I be. It's also hard if your kids are in schools and if you've got parents and all that sort of stuff. But special economic zones.
So that's one.
Yeah, that would definitely be one. During the pandemic, we had special loans to businesses. We had a special British bank system. Now, there was some fraud, but actually a huge number of businesses, for the first time in their business life, they got access to £50,000 worth of capital, and they had to pay it back over the next 4 or 5 years, but they were instantly approved for 50 grand to stay afloat. And it actually demonstrated that the vast, vast, vast majority of businesses can take 50 grand worth of capital and pay it back successfully. Really? Yeah. So that was one of the things that kind of proved that in the same way that you can do student loans and get the money back, you can do business loans and get the money back.
Probably more likely with the business, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I would definitely reestablish some sort of growth bank and just make that 50 grand, because in many cases, businesses get stuck at around 150, 250,000 a year revenue. They need to make a little bit of investment in order to go up to $1 million, hire a few people. When you start hiring a few people, you need a little bit of breathing room. 50 grand actually will get a lot of businesses to go from a couple of $100 grand to close to $1 million. So I would definitely do those sorts of things. And that's actually a way for the government to make money, because if it's the right amount of interest, you lend the capital and get it back with interest, provided you figure out how do we ring fence the fraud part, because we've learnt the lesson now. We did it so quickly in the pandemic that we didn't put many checks and balances in, but we've learnt the lesson. We can figure out, and we can use AI to figure out whether you're a good risk or not.
No, just 3 more. Sorry, keep going.
I would definitely use AI in the curriculum. My kids are using AI to get personal tutoring now. They my son, who's 8, snuck off with my iPad quietly, didn't want to get caught doing AI lessons because he thought it was a game. So he's learning mathematics and he's sitting there learning all these maths in these AI-driven maths games, and he thought he was getting extra screen time. Literally getting one-on-one tutoring from an AI. It calls him by his name, all that sort of stuff. There was a study that was done in the US where they took a broad group of students at all levels, and they gave them one-on-one AI-driven tutoring, and they ended up all in the top 2%. So I would definitely start using what you're looking for is bespoke, one-to-one, at your own pace, learning through AI. And I would definitely make it a major part of the curriculum that we have to prepare people for this world that's coming. I would definitely take a hammer to crony capitalism. So big private equity-backed companies that have learned how to extract money out of government, you can't be more than 250 people. You can't be above a certain size. So you cannot form monopolies. You can sell to government, but you can't be a big company selling to government. You're going to have to spin off highly competitive companies, and you're going to have 4, 5, 6, 7 little companies that compete, right? And we don't give government contracts to large organizations that are private equity backed. We give, we make sure that it's highly competitive. I would also look at how do we put pressure on breaking up obvious monopolies that have not been broken up. So it's not right that, let's say, Amazon can have AWS, online retail, offline retail, content, and all of those businesses act as a counterweight, counterbalance, strategic monopoly where those businesses should be made to compete on their own terms. The way that these new monopolies, because old monopolies were just scale, right? Big petrol companies, big oil companies, just the bigger, the better. New monopolies are ecosystem monopolies. Google has its AI division, which is underpinned by its search division, and underpinned by YouTube, and underpinned by Gmail and Maps. All of those businesses should have to hit a certain size and be spun out, and they stand on their own feet and can compete on their own feet. So we want to get back to the origins of capitalism. Good capitalism is about breaking up monopolies and not allowing people to monopolize. You have to compete, right? Capitalism is competition, and it's innovation through competition. It's growth through innovation and competition. So you need to make sure that you're ensuring competition through breaking up monopolies. Those are some of the things.